So, hey guys, welcome to another client interview. Today we have Karel, and basically the result we're talking about today is how did they went from zero to having the website fully done in around 30 to 40 days, and also increasing the number of leads that they were getting. And we'll talk about that in a second, right? And before I get ahead of myself, why don't you just introduce yourself and the company and what you guys do, and then we'll just move forward from there.
Sure, I'm Kirill, CEO of Citadel. We do income and employment verifications in less than 30 seconds, and they're completely automated. Our target lenders and companies that do background screening. When we started, we had about 7 clients, and right now we're at 20. Launch helped quite a bit, and I think the outcome is pretty evident. We went from really literally like 1 or 2 leads a week to getting 5, 6 leads a day, and our leads are very big. It's like usually we work with companies with 10 to $50 million in revenue at least.
Perfect. Okay, that sounds good. We'll get into that in a second, but let's take it back. Let's take it back a little bit and look back at when you first heard about me, right? So, do you happen to remember how you first heard about me and what kind of made you book the call at the time?
I think it was because Kevin White mentioned that he worked with you at Segment or one of the companies. I don't quite recall it. And he told me that I should reach out to you and a couple other vendors. And when I had a conversation with one of them, couldn't take. He had he was completely booked for the next 6 months. The other one, we had a conversation, and I think I like your structure and how you approached the problem. And you also, I felt like you would be better fit culturally because you were very oriented on result and very fast moving. So it felt like usually I am the one who's like following up and asking people to move faster, and I felt it the other way around with you.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm definitely the guy that just keeps following up until people have everything done. Okay, that's good to know. And what kind of, I mean, obviously that it's always like a big decision to figure out which one you're working with. Like, what kind of kicked you over the fence?
What made me decide on? I really went with Kevin's recommendations, and as I mentioned, it's like the structure. And I read your book before I signed up. You remember, like over the
Oh yeah.
I think we were chatting in December, and then before January, I read your book. I think I really like the structure and I really like the process. So I think the process is there, and that's, I would say, is like 60% of the result, and then 40% of the result is really focusing on the content and doing the right type of iteration. So I felt like you had both in place, and the result was not. The decision was really a no-brainer.
Okay, perfect. I think that sounds good. Now, looking back at the leads that you're getting now, right? You're getting like several leads a day. What exactly do you think has changed for you to be being able to get that result right now?
I think it's the product. The way we explain it is more crisp. We explain it better. People understand and grasp what we offer in a second, and we also changed the CTA. We went from request a demo to watch the demo.
Yep.
So the type of CTA is the barrier is much lower. You read what you like. You read the landing page. You see what you like. We ask you to watch the demo. You submit a very simple lead form, and then we follow up. And this works way better than requesting a demo.
Perfect. Okay. And what would you say is like the before and after in terms of how you were like explaining the product before and how you explain it now? So we can kind of figure out what are some of the differences.
I think it was less focused on benefits and more, just what's a nice way? I wouldn't say it the nice way. It was like feature vomit. It just say a lot of features and this feature and that feature, and we do it. It was a lot of focus on functionality and less focus on the outcomes. And the way we rephrased it together with you is focus on the outcomes and benefits, but also make user question what they do today so that they connect with the problem better. So we sort of skipped, we were very light on the problem section, so we didn't explain the problem too well. Much more focus on the solution and less focus on the outcomes. So I would say from going from a little bit of a problem, big solution, and a little bit of benefits, went to a lot of problem, a little bit less solution, and a lot more benefits in terms of content. And that I think helps, and it also flows better than what we had when you read the content or when you watch the video, when you just scroll through the page.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. I think that sounds good. In terms of how would you, let's say, quantify the ROI at the moment in terms of the stuff that we worked on together?
I mean, it's hard to say because we went from 0 to something. So ROI definitely was good. Uh, it was not iterative improvement. It was really chill. We threw away what we had and started from scratch. And we have a lot of pages now that we didn't have before. So from that perspective, Pedro, I would say that we made good progress, but I cannot say, I cannot quantify uh, how the ROI looks like because I feel like I feel good about the progress because I have definitely started getting the leads, and that's what was the goal for redoing the website and for the launch.
Perfect. Okay. Because people like quantify ROI differently, right? Some people might think they saved a bunch of time doing the website. Some people might think, uh, they get X number of leads, therefore there is a ROI there, right? So it depends for everyone. It's just different for everyone, right? In terms of the like during the exact process, right? Was there anything that clicked or that kind of changed your mindset in terms of how you're thinking about like selling the product or anything, or about how you should position the product in a future or future products? Anything that has clicked, or the one thing that you took from the project?
Um, the one thing that I've done, and it was a little bit with you, a little bit because Kevin suggested, we've done jobs to be done analysis of the product and what people say, like similar to what you do now. We did a customer interview. We understood like not only like the product, how the product works for them, but we also understood like how they made the decision, purchasing decision, what triggered that purchasing decision. And after we had that conversation, we understood that how we should position the product, and we completely repositioned how we talk about it. We were going after the competitor, and we're very focused on the competitor. And what we did is, instead of doing that, we changed it to be much more focused on just automation and removing the manual work from the process.
Perfect. And when you say like to focus on the competitor, what would you say? Like, you mean like talking about lower prices or faster
Yep.
setup?
Lower prices, faster setup. Now we talk about just automation. And that resonates better because that's what people are annoyed with, because when you scale, you need to hire more people. You don't like when it's not automated. It's a lot of work.
Perfect. Okay, that sounds good. And those are the things that we're trying to make clear. So then they think, yeah, this is the tool to use now and to use in the future. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Like, would you recommend like other SaaS founders like to work with me?
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this interview.
Perfect. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I mean, and there are a few people that might be watching this right now once we actually publish it, that they might be a little hesitant to either book that initial call to figure out if I can help them, or they're hesitant to like actually become a client and just go through the same process you went through. Like, what would you like say to them that would kind of help them take action right now, or that they should know?
I guess the first call was 15 minutes. You explained me the process. I think it was like around 15 minutes. So if it's very efficient, if 15 minutes is definitely worth it, just give it a shot. And then whenever you make a decision, I think it's really all about like what's your understanding your goals and communicating it to you. I think I was very clear about like what I wanted out of the project. And looking back, I think that was like half of the success, because we were very focused on the launch date. We were very focused on doing the content before the date X, and we did like very quick iterations. If you have a little bit more time, you might do a little bit more homework and do more customer interviews. And I think you were very flexible in terms of understanding my goals and adjusting your process to my goals, if that makes sense.
Perfect. Yeah, because I remember at the time we had like pretty much like a deadline, and we had to figure out what is it that we can do, just still get the result and still meet the headline.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, I think that sounds good. Like the last question would be like, how can people like essentially find you online?
Just go to the citadelid.com, the website, and submit the form, or ping me on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Okay, that sounds good. Thanks a lot for the client interview, and yeah, I hope to be sharing like a few more of these soon.
All right, sounds good.
Awesome. Cheers.